Hey guys, Mark Spurnock here, and this is the video for creating a world, and more specifically, an in-depth world, I guess. If you're big on a series or a franchise or a saga, you've noticed that they always have a rather flushed out world with a lot of little uh, background characters, a little bit of kind of just nonchalant uh, here and there's that I can't really explain the kind of background group, background and foreground sort of groupings that may seem mundane but help to actually build and create the world that your character is based in. And this is what I'm going to try to do here now. Okay, first off, I like to start off myself with technology. Now, this usually fits into the sci-fi section of the world building. However, not always. Sometimes it can actually help you in fantasy in terms of lack of technology. In terms of it could be the case of well, no, not even medieval. Yeah, we say medieval stage, where they have crossbows, catapults. That would be that level of a technology, or it could be set in that time frame with modern day or even space age style of technology. As long as you explain why that technology is so far advanced for a primitive timeline. I know that sounds horrible, but that's the best way to kind of explain that. Next is race and nationality. A lot of people kind of shy away from this, and I don't get why. I mean, if you're making it about your world, go to town, go ballistic. It doesn't have to be um, a specific race, a specific nationality. It could be your own creation. It doesn't have to be based on, say, realism. It's your creation. It's your world. You are manufacturing this from nothing. Go to town. If the persons, people, whatever, are all, uh, let's say, cat-like creatures, then it doesn't specific. They don't have to be black, white, purple, green, orange, whatever. They don't have to be all 6 foot tall and blonde or blue eyes. They don't have to be like that. Yeah, of course, have their fur different colors because it helps you differentiate, let's say, one character from the next, or maybe a main character from a stock character. It, it just helps that way. In terms of nationality, I like to keep it somewhat realistic in terms of relatability. That's because my genre or my current saga, the Eero saga, is set in a fictional world in our current world. Yeah, yeah. So I personally I use vague terms for countries, so you can kind of put your own rendition on it. I use the phrase mainland in Eero, which could be any country on the globe, but to you it could be your country. To someone else it would be theirs, and so on and so on. But if you want to make up your own nationality, go for it. There is nothing stopping you. It could be the country of Zeopoxurian, Zeopoxurian, and the people there could be called um, Slylers. Slylers? Yeah, Slylers. Cat-like people who are born from Christmas tree baubles. I don't know. It's just something like that. So technology, race, nationality. Uh, some people, actually, quite a lot of people recently, which is great. I kind of like this concept, are focusing on, say, military. Not the fact that there needs to be a great war or a great conflict to the point where you need to have military involved in it, but military in the sense of is your book based around special tactics? Is it based around a conflict within a war, whether it be fictional or not? Are they trained in hand-to-hand combat? Will they be trained in swordsmanship, marksmanship? There's that level of things. However, the military will also play into part with technology to a certain degree. What sort of weaponry and armor will they have? Will it be basic level armor with advanced technology, or the opposite way around? It just helps play off and build the world that you're kind of really getting lost into now. Now, by this point, you should already have a pretty good idea where you're heading with the world. Well, actually, you should have an idea where you're heading before you start making it, but it helps. Now, here's the major thing: culture. Now, to me, culture is a very broad scope phrase. It could mean a multitude of things, but like there's a very high chance that you watching this have been raised in a different culture than I have. Even if you're sitting in we'll say Wexford, Ireland. Well, I'm actually in Wexford, Ireland too. But if you're sitting in the same county, the same country as me, you are still being raised in a different culture. Because different towns, different counties, different countries, different villages, different cities have different cultures in and of themselves. So make your own one, make it worthwhile, and just let it happen. It really works. Fine, so I didn't get something to eat. All right, sorry guys. Nephew, give me a hardship here. Bang on the windows. In the lashing rain, you complete clown. Dirty just anyway. Now special. What makes your world special? What makes your world well? If you have, we say, medieval people with space technology or space level technology, that already makes it special. But what is it that makes your world special in terms of what makes it more unique? What makes it more designed for your book, your franchise, your series, as opposed to the next person or the next franchise? This I can't really help you much on. This has to be your own thing. Like for me, I chose to create a world where all the folklore creatures, all the fairy tales, all the kind of paranormal beasts, creatures, entities are conglomerated into Eru. Well, not all, but the vast majority of them. The females were allowed to go and spread globally, live at their lives, especially with lycanthropes. This was done because, to me, it made a great deal of sense because we'll just go from lycanthrope because that's the main entity in my books. The females were far more capable of keeping self-control in terms of the lunar cycle. They were able to actually keep themselves in check. They weren't animals that seeked out flesh and blood, whereas the males were. Males found it very difficult to contain the wolf during the lunar cycle, and when they turn under a full moon, they do essentially become an ungodly creature of extreme power and strength with a thirst beyond rationality. Where females keep their intelligence, they keep their logic at all point in time while maintaining the strength, power, and prowess of lycanthropus. So, there's that. That's what makes my world a little bit special, is that I have a reason why Eru is not segregated, but a peace treaty kept them there while the humans were allowed to populate and actually grow. And I suppose having a country of Eru that's there in the first place makes it kind of special. Now, dialect. Okay, this can go a magnitude of ways as well, but I would advise, if you're going to add a foreign language or even a made-up language to it, put some kind of a description on or in the book, on your website, on your social media or on your YouTube channel. Tell your readers that this language is your own creation, because there are people who will go out there and try and actually learn the language, which is great. Or if you take a step back from dialect or different languages, we go with colloquialisms. I always have hardship saying that word, colloquialisms. Being Irish, my accent gets stronger and thicker, or gets weaker and lessened, or it just kind of mashes together depending on which county I'm in, which country I'm in, who I'm speaking to. Here now, I'm trying to suppress the accent because it is rather thick. That's why I'm kind of stuttering and sort of stammering here and there. I can feel myself starting to bring out the Irish, and I have to try and pull it back in. So, but it can be very difficult to actually write an accent, write a colloquialism. I said it right. But if you are going for that, by all means go, because it will help you with the culture part of the whole world. Great. Now, the hardest part of this whole thing, we've had technology, race, nationality, military, culture, special, and dialect. Number 7 is probably the hardest, is to create a good picture of that world, whether it be in a description or an actual picture, like a illustration. It can be very difficult to actually make that, specifically when you're aiming for one image and your reader has their own image in their head. You're kind of taken away from what they think it is by showing them what you want it to be. Now, if you are making a world where you want it to be this, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Go for it. Personally, I tend to let my reader create the image in their own head. So I will depict the world to a certain degree, like a certain level, and then they can take it off, or they can go up with it in their own head. Like my world has 27 kingdoms. 2 of them are lost, kind of in ruins. And I've explained to a certain degree what each kingdom is like on my website. And I've been asked about in the Troll Kingdom, is it like the show called 10th Kingdom, where it's all kind of a barren wasteland, and if it's all up. And the only real answer I can give them is, what do you want it to look like? When you think Troll Kingdom, what do you picture? And they'll tell me, and that's the right answer. And the person next to them may have a different answer. They may see it differently, but that's still the right answer, because to that reader, that's their vision of the Troll Kingdom or the Puka Kingdom, or something like that. That's their vision. It's correct. Yours is different. It's still correct. So if you want to go down that route, it is slightly easier, but more difficult to subtract the depiction, because it's very easy to just write a vast majority of it looks like this and this is like that. That's up here and the clouds are. But to pull it back to the point where you're given you're given slight hints as to how it could look, and then stop. That's very difficult to actually do. So I wouldn't advise doing that unless you're absolutely making this world for the reader to create themselves. But by all means, guys, there it is. By all means and purposes, you only really need 7 things. Now, if you want, you can add more to it, of course. But there are these 7 functions I have found that make it worthwhile, or to make it easier to actually create a world. Technology, race, nationality, military, culture, special, dialect, and depiction. Depiction is going to be the hardest. It's the hardest for me. I'm sure some people out there might find culture or special difficult. Technology is always pretty simple to actually go with, because you can make it. I'm popular. You can make it your own. You can make it whatever you want it to be. It's not really difficult. So yeah, guys, there's the 7 things. I'll be back later on, or actually later on in the week, with another video that I haven't quite titled yet. I am thinking about biography in terms of your character. That's difficult. It may sound simple. Oh my God, is it difficult? But for now, guys, this video has come to its end. I hope you guys like. If you do, like and subscribe, by all means, share too. That helps. And while you're at it, guys, there's a link in the link in the description, as is all other information, to Werewolf Uncaged, which is on sale now on Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, and everything else. It's currently running free for the month of December for your ebook needs. For your paperback, there's extra content in that you might like. I'm getting good reviews, guys. There's more work down there too, of course. But by all means, guys, give it a look. And until then, guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for staying and enjoying. I appreciate you watching my channel and my work.